Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Power Prospecting with MAPS coaches Jackie Kravitz and Bill Crespo. Please note that this webinar is being recorded, and you will automatically receive the recording of the webinar within an hour of the call ending. This will also include information regarding Jackie and Bill's course. It will have a link in there for your information as well. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That is fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me. Bill and Jackie, take it away.
Okay, so thank you so much, Corey, and thanks for everybody jumping on. I see the numbers clicking up here as people jump on, and we really want to, Jackie and I want to go over a whole lot of material today, take great notes. Jackie, say hi, everybody, so they know that you're there.
Hey, hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know you have busy schedules, and Bill and I are going to be make this hour worse for you. So we have a lot of great stuff to share.
Thanks, Jackie. One of the things that I think we want to make sure that we express to you, the market is shifting around the country. So we gave this information sometime earlier in the year. Now it's more important than ever that this is going to be a skilled-based market that we're jumping into. So raising your level of skill to that place that you haven't gone to is what we want to focus on in giving you this information and a little bit about our group program that we have. So let's start off, and I'm just going to remind everybody, if you'd like more information or just kind of talk to Jackie and myself, you can easily go online, go to the Facebook page called the Prospecting Locker Room. It's a private page. Jump on in there, just go right in there. We'll let you in. It's only by, we've got to accept the people in it. So that's a good place to ask questions and to really start to get yourself involved with us a little bit more. People that are in the group program are actually going to be in that also. Jackie, tell them a little bit about the group program days and that information that we have out there.
Yeah, so we'll touch on this so you have this information up front, and we'll start with the material. Bill and I are the two coaches that coach Power Prospecting. That's the name of our group coaching program. They are 1 hour Zoom calls, and that's really exciting. I believe actually right now it's still the only MAPS group program that is on Zoom. So we get to see each other and really interact and participate every week for 1 hour on Mondays at noon Eastern time. This is a 6-month program. It is designed to be a 6-month program with all the material that we share with you. And I am on 2 calls. Bill's on 2 calls. That's how we organize these calls. And occasionally you'll have both of us on the calls. You can jump in at any time. So you can start as early as next Monday by signing up today. It's $199 a month for 6 months. There you go.
Yes. So it's good stuff, and we had changed the time to a Monday, so excuse the mess up here on this slide. But let's get going. Let's talk about you. As I said, right now you need to really look at what you need to go to that next level. And it's so hard to sometimes evaluate yourself. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that is that you need. We know right now, and we just did something just recently. I talked to the clients about what's happening with the market, and there's 12 indications about the recession. So, Jackie, we've been through this recession before, and we've been through called. What do you feel is important that we should know about the recession, just for our clients? I know there's so many things we can talk about, but
you're right. There's so many things we can talk about. And the one thing that I'd like to make clear, because like you said, we've been through more. Actually, when I got into real estate, it was a very strong buyer's market 23, 24 years ago. And then we've all experienced 2008, 2009. And I was coaching at that time, and I had several coaching clients that experienced huge breakthroughs in the worst recession this country has ever seen in real estate. And I think the key thing, Bill, to understand is that no one has to be a product of the market. You said that we're going into a skills-based market. And when you focus on mastering your sales skills, you work on yourself. You don't need to worry about what is happening with the market. And also, as we know, Bill, it is a prospecting based market. If you've done business in the past and you've been satisfied with what is just coming to you without you having to prospect, guess what? That you're going to be very limited in the number of transactions you close, and as the market shifts and changes, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
So it's prospecting based and it is skills based.
Yeah, and we remind people that somebody said, what's the name of the Facebook page? The Prospecting Locker Room. The Prospecting Locker Room. Just jump on there. So, Jackie, if you can watch the questions too, and I'll watch the questions as people jump in. And we want to give you the actual, let's just say, the straight talk. Okay, we can't sugarcoat this. As coaches, when we were coaching through the recession, we didn't really know how deep it was. So when we're talking today, we're going to be really clear and specific. We want you to understand that the alarms have gone off, that you have to change. But here's what we hear a lot. When we're talking to clients, they're saying, hey, man, these scripts are not for me. Okay, they're not for me. We want to talk to you how to make them for you. Sometimes we talk about the lack of consistency, that, hey, I'm not being consistent. There's no consistency. This is what we find with the clients. And, like, hey, I need more leads right now. And so we understand all those things. So when we put this program together, we say, how can we solve these problems, right? The problem of,
exactly.
Hey, I'm just not being consistent, and this is what's happening. I don't have enough leads. So, Jackie, we're going to ask them to do something important, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's really stretching and getting outside of your comfort zone. There is no other way for you to master scripts. You say scripts are not me. I understand that. And at the same time, how do you become comfortable and conversational and fluent with these conversations if you don't stretch, if you don't get outside of your comfort zone? How are you ever going to become consistent in your prospecting and master anything?
Yeah.
I was speaking with someone recently, and they said, actually, it's another coach, and said, if you want to learn how to play a musical instrument as a professional, you know that if you just play it for 5 minutes 2 or 3 times a week, you're never going to get there. It takes really getting into a mindset of, I'm committed to this, I'll do whatever it takes, because that's the only way to have a breakthrough.
Yeah, and I think that what is so important to the focus of what we're doing with you, and we want to discuss, listen, you guys may take the information today and never join our group program. That's okay. You'll learn something. If you jump in, then we take it to the next level, because as Jackie said, it's all about your skills. You have to evaluate yourself. So we're going to talk about 3 basic principles right now. And the principles that we're going to talk about is what we call the ACE prospecting method. Okay, the ACE prospecting method. And this ACE prospecting method, we said, okay, how do we get our clients to understand the elements to getting better in lead generation? Because, Jackie, you know this. In the history of sales, since the beginning of caveman time to the point that we're in technology, I don't think you can close a deal really without talking, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just not possible. We're in the business. The more, let me see how I want to say this. The more skilled you are in your communication, the more money you make. We're in the business of communicating with people. You don't sell anything. You don't get clients if you're not willing to break through. And I know this is an uncomfortable situation for a lot of agents, because, well, that's just not me. I'm kind of quiet. I'm shy. I don't think I like that. And you know what? Then this business is not for you. It's like Bill said, we want to give you the straight talk. You want to make a fortune in real estate, and you want to withstand any market. You've got to master communication.
Yeah, and what's really neat is that in a recession, you could win because your competition doesn't know what to do. So if you can, if everybody can just take a piece of paper, hopefully you're not driving around, but if you can take a piece of paper and draw this triangle, So in your delivery, as you are doing your business, there are three elements that you have to be worried about. And one is going to be that you have to, the A stands for approach, right? Your approach, and Jackie and I are going to break this down for you. So the C
Yep.
stands for conversation, and the E stands for end results. So your approach, how you converse, and then where you're taking that client is so important. This is where the ACE prospecting method is going to be introduced for you to cover these three areas as we get involved with you if you decide to get with us even closer than before. And we know that a person does not feel connected with you unless they feel these things, right? They've got to feel that you're honest, that you can be trusted, and that you're an expert. If that doesn't happen in your delivery, this whole process that we're talking about, lead generation or even presenting, if that doesn't convey to that person you're speaking to or that person you're presenting to, it's tough. And guess what happens? More objections come up, and that's going to be tough. So it's going to be about how you approach them. And the question is, for some of you, remember that your voice is the impression you're leaving. So my question is, what kind of impression are you leaving? You might want to address that one, Jackie, on the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially, well, when you're in person, if you're door knocking or you're on a listing presentation or you're working with a buyer, we all know that first impressions are critical, and your entire demeanor and what you look like and how you're dressed and everything matters. And at the same time, over the phone, your voice is all you got, right, Bill?
Yeah, that's all you have, and that is the picture.
Absolutely. They create an image which is their first impression of us over the phone. So you gotta be really cautious and very careful on how you're coming across. And going back to, do they feel like you're being honest? They can trust you. And do you sound like an expert? They make a decision on all of that within a few seconds of the call starting.
Yeah. So we end up losing sometimes because of the initial, remember, your tone comes out of your mouth and the brain says, I like it or not. Now, look, I can hear it right now because we've got a lot of people on, and somebody goes, well, this is kind of basic stuff. But here, what happens, we got to get back to basics, because what's happening is we have way too many agents out there. A lot of them are saying the same things. How do you disseminate? How
do you stand out?
Yeah, how do you stand out for, I was going to say disintegrate, but that's not the right word, disseminate you from the competition? If everybody's using the same scripts, if everybody's, their tonality, whether you're a driver or whatever your personality is, and we'll talk about that later, you've got to understand that it's not time to screw around with this. It's time to now take it to the next level. So we have to talk about what is your approach that has to change. Your approach is what's going to make it. You're not going to kiss your clients like this, but you know what I'm saying. You're going to have an approach that people go, man, she sounds different. He sounds different. I want you to read this next thing that I think is so important to you and the behavior that has to change. And this is something that I read a long time ago. It says the things that worked for you in the past very likely could sooner or later lose their serviceability, which is right now. Even your customary approach still holds a promise for maintaining your present level of performance and growth curve. It may not help much if you want to hit far higher achievements. Now, this was a study done on having quantum changes, quantum leaps. And quantum leaps are when you do a little bit of changes that make massive results happen. It says, and if you continue to rely on those old routines, maybe even leaning on them the most when your performance flattens out or sags, you create a trap for yourself. And this is what happens in a recession. You go back into your old routines and it doesn't do what you want it to do. So there's a certain irony here. Your most dependable historical behaviors can become major obstacles to future growth. It's possible for them to cripple your progress, that they may stand as personal boundary lines that limit what you accomplish with your life. So like when Jackie and I are coaching people or talking to people, they go, well, what do you think you ought to do? We ask them that question. They go, well, I just got to prospect more. That may not be the answer. You may have
Right.
to go to bed early. You may have to stop drinking, whatever. You may have to lose weight. You may have to exercise. You may have to read a book a month. There's something uncustomary that you need to do today that will get you into higher levels of production. And the book that Jackie and I recommend is this one right here. It's called Switch. Okay, it's how to change things when change is hard. And so we're not going to get into it, but there's many people have read it. It's a great book. Please write that down, get it today so that you understand about yourself and what needs to change. Because in the book, and just briefly talks about that the reason why we don't change is the emotion of whatever's coming at us. Like, you're prospecting and all of a sudden the phone comes off and you think a deal's ready to blow up and you don't prospect. You decide that, I don't know, something happened at home and that becomes very emotional and you just get off track on what you're doing. So what they call that is that there's two types of people inside of you. There's the elephant and the rider. The rider is a small guy on top of a big elephant, and the big elephant is emotion. You're trying to say, I got to make more money. That's the logic. The elephant is attracted to the biggest emotion, which is the deal's blowing up. Someone's coming to my door and they're asking me a question, and you don't stay focused, as we said at the beginning, with that consistency that you need in your prospecting. So read the book, understand what's happening to you. So when you make the change, and we don't know how deep this recession is, but we know for a fact that when you have a small elephant, meaning that you are just not focused on yourself as the way you should, you have a lack of lead generation, you have poor time management, you're more reactive than proactive, and you lack steady income. Does that make sense? What do you think, Jackie?
Yeah, Bill, with everything you're saying, with what you just said right now, and a few minutes ago you mentioned something and you said, well, I'm sure some of them are thinking that's kind of basic. And here's my view of this, and obviously you and I have been in real estate and coaching for a long time.
Don't tell them how long. I'm just young.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, a lot of the things that we're talking to you about today, you may think they sound basic. You've heard them before. My question is, as basic as they sound, have you mastered them? Because you don't need new ideas. You just need to commit to mastering the basics.
And that's really the secret. Like this, right? Eliminating these distractions. What is your you got to figure out right now what is taking you off your game. And we've been in, we'll say it, we've been in this business. We have a combined 50 years of being in real estate, and we probably have we're experts because we did it wrong in the beginning. We had to go through everything you're going through. But one thing that is such a challenge in real estate is all these distractions that you have. You have to eliminate the distractions and stay focused. If you want to get past any market shift, whether it be lightly or if you want to make more money, it's going to have to be that way. And Jackie, you and I have discussed this many times about what this is to their business. Remember?
Oh yeah, 100%. And Bill and I use the analogy of, if you have a retail business, you need to have that front door open so clients can come in, customers can come in, and you can sell whatever product you're selling in your retail business. Real estate is exactly the same thing. You got to have that front door open to new business. And that front door, whether you like it or not, is prospecting. And Bill was just talking about eliminating distractions. Certainly, it makes you feel like you're working and you're busy and you're doing something by responding to emails, by the next new shiny object out there, and promises of the magic pill. This is how you're going to make it happen. So you could avoid the basics of mastering prospecting and your skills, because that you're going to carry those when you develop self-discipline and you have the front door open because you are prospecting every day, meaning you're not just sitting around waiting for business to come to you. You're reaching out and looking for business every day. That's the key to a successful business, whether it's your real estate business or a retail business, period.
Yeah, yeah. And then the question is your schedule keeping your doors closed most of the day or open? If you don't prospect one day, you've closed your business. The lock is on, the gate is closed. You're not allowing people to shop at your business. Now, if you're lucky and you've got all kinds of referrals coming in and you got family everywhere and your friends love you and you're getting leads coming in, then this class is not for you. But if you're like everybody else that's out there making a living, wanting to change their income, having to pay debt and bills, your doors have to be open at a set time every day so people can shop at your store. Now, it's not like a retail operation, but it's different, right?
Yeah, and Bill, you and I were trained in the beginning of our real estate careers that you cannot say that you've worked a certain day unless you prospected. So guess what? You are closed for business if you're not making outbound calls, you're not reaching out and looking for business. You are closed for business, and technically you're really not working.
Right. Yeah, and the challenge with the way the market is, and for those of you who are just starting or want to make a big change right now, there's two groups of audiences that you can go after, and you only have so many friends and family that can give you business, which means you have to now introduce yourself to a larger group of people out there, and those are the people that are not familiar with you. So there's got to be a level of technique. So back to what we said is that your approach has to do certain things. Your approach in making a call or even meeting someone for the first time needs to raise the level of influence, because the higher level of influence you have with people, when they see you as being someone with authority and expertise, they go, man, I got to work with this person. So there's actually a method in how to do that. But when you don't have that, Jackie, tell them what happens.
Well, if you have in the past experienced lead generating or prospecting and not getting results, meaning feeling like they're rejecting you, or you have fear, or you don't know what to say, when you have the right approach, you'll have the influence, authority, and expertise. That's what people are looking for. No one wants to buy or sell a home from an agent who doesn't sound like an expert, doesn't sound like they know what they're talking about. They're looking for, and you have the honest, I know it's not there right now, the honesty, trust, and
expertise,
whatever the other word is in the center. Yeah, exactly. Because this approach will automatically cause them to trust you, to feel like you're being honest. And it's critical to your success. Without influence is number one, actually, not just in sales, in anything. You want to have better relationships with your friends and significant others, your family. Influence is critical. Authority, expertise, and trust at the same time. Honesty and trust. So it all goes together, Bill.
Yeah, and that there's methods of doing that. In our course that we're going to be working with you on, we go over how to do that different than anybody else, because then you're going to get into the conversation. So your approach becomes high level. You have the right words, you have the right approach. Now we're in a dialogue, and that's where things could get a little bit rocky, right? We're in a dialogue and a conversation. So now we're engaged in the audience that's listening to us over the phone. Now, there's only so many ways you can converse with someone, and in that, you've got to be good in all of these. We know that there's three of them. You're going to either be on the phone, you're going to be in person, or you have to converse electronically. And the only thing I caution everybody is that I know that people that like to text, there's an important time where you move that person to the next step. And at times we accept texting as if we're engaged, but actually they're smart. They're putting you off. So there's a method of drawing that person in and now scheduling an appointment. But if you don't have the conversation right, Jackie, what happens?
Well, being intimidated is number one, right? Because when you don't know what to say, there's fear, there's more rejection, there's no strategy. I mean, how much longer do you want to continue to do the same things over and over and over and not get the results that you could potentially get. I mean, we know Bill and I have had, not only we were very successful real estate agents, we've been coaching for so many years now. We can teach you exactly what to do, what to say, what this conversation needs to be like, the words and the approach, so you can get the end results, Bill.
Yeah, and that now is going to be one of the main topics in conversation, is that all this method of conversing has a lot of meaning. There's a lot of things behind the scenes. So we talk a lot about this, about making sure that you have the downswings in your voice. You know, sometimes when you're nervous, you have upswings. Some of this is basic, but I could tell you for a fact that you're not working on it every day, because you go, well, I only downswing a couple of times or upswing here. You have to understand how to match certain accents, and sometimes, like, you know, we both of us are our first language is not American, believe it or not, or English.
English, yeah.
So, you know, my father sounds like he's Ricky Ricardo, so I can't talk to him like I'm talking to you right now, because you have to talk with broken English. And if you don't know that, it's really hard to have good communication. You do have to increase your energy. You have to have bandwidth. Here's an excited, let me give you an example of an excited analytical. Hi, Mr. Smith. I'm really excited about coming over today to see your house. I mean, come on. The analytical's got to look at your face and keep a mirror in front of you, because you've got to sound like you have a smile. I'm really smiling right now. I'm excited. That doesn't work on the phone. So you've got to increase that energy up. That's why I stand all the time, because standing is a key. I coach people all over the country. I can tell these ISAs and these people prospecting are sitting on their butts. It doesn't work. You have to be 20% louder so someone can hear that there's something exciting in your voice. Now, we do not want to go over the top, but my disclaimer for the expressive group out there is that you may have to bring it down a little bit, because you're awfully too excited. And so by being able to understand the beginning of that approach, which is tonality, and having the right tonality in the conversation, is going to help you to be better with the scripts that we have. So as Jackie said, I want Jackie to kind of elaborate that, because she did say your voice is the picture.
It's 100%. Absolutely. And here's what I don't believe this. I know people make decisions when they're excited about the future. It is the future, meaning whatever their goal is, they want to sell the house, they want to buy a house. It is your responsibility and your job when you make these contacts, when you're prospecting, to sound in such a way that they get excited about what you can do for them. I mean, why else would they give you an appointment or list with you or buy a house from you? And like we said, Bill, when you're over the phone, your voice is everything. Even when you're in person, body language is such a huge part of communication. And at the same time, if your body is saying one thing and your voice is saying something else, in essence, the audio and the video don't match, you're incongruent, and people hesitate. They're like, this doesn't sound right. They just don't feel compelled to want to do business with you. So our voices are critical.
If you have not been in the audience when Jackie and I do a presentation, if the reason why hopefully we capture you and help you with your business because of our energy. I hope you can feel this through the microphone, that we're not sedative people at all. We want you to improve. And if we could, like, for instance, if we got on the phone, like I was talking, with you today, and just said, we've got a great program for you today, and it did not compel you, the attendance would drop dramatically. So what we want to understand for you and to convey to you is, what's that track that you have to use? And we'll teach this, but I just want to go over that this track that you're seeing right here is a method of conversation that you're having with people so that you know what to say. So in the class, we're going to go over how to use this, what we call prospect conversation track. You'll get copies of this, you'll get to use it, and we'll be able to go over every step. Each step is important because, again, as Jackie said, we have to raise the level of influence and authority. So if we don't do classify, qualify, demonstrate, and persuade properly, we're not going to be able to have that person want us to come over and talk about our services. And this really is in any sales business. So this is something that you'll get as you work with us. And the other thing that I think Jackie and I really know is so important is that you have to understand personality styles. And we'll get into that. But Jackie, tell them a little bit about how important that is, because we've worked on this for, gosh, I don't know how many years.
Yeah, since we're really not spending a lot of time on this right now, Bill, and here's what I want to say. You have to understand what they are. And I believe more than anything else, you earlier talked about matching, being able to match their tonality, the emotion, which is how you build rapport in the initial few seconds of the conversation. And then ultimately we have to lead them. Understanding the personality styles are critical. And personally, I feel the most important thing in this is being able to be versatile, so you can adapt and speak with people in a way that's gonna catch their attention, that's gonna get them to want to do business with you. And without understanding the personality styles, you're not able to do that. You have your own way of communicating, which is your style, and you just talk to everybody the same way. So unless they're exactly like you, it's not necessarily going to work.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people like us. So hopefully some of you have had this taken before. And just if you can't type in, if you've had your disc taken at some time, I'm sure most of you have, just type in yes. Just want to get a feel for how many people get this, because sometimes we overlook this. If you've had your disc taken, just type in yes. Okay, good. Looks like, yeah, Regina, not me. Okay, a couple of you are not me. Wow. Okay, great. Tracy, thanks. A couple people have had. Okay, good. So you know that there is a style that you have a problem with, that you have a challenge with in how you converse with someone, and that's okay. As long as you identify yourself, and you'll know exactly how to handle this situation. It's so great to know that that you don't have to be intimidated by a certain style, because that's their behavior. A driver will always be demanding. An expressive person's always going to talk a lot. The amiable is a little shy and they don't want to really talk, and they talk about feelings, and the analytical is wanting precise information. And you've got to deliver. And if you don't deliver, then you're not going to become this ace conversationalist. You're not going to become the ace prospector. Now, at the end, after you've done all this, now you have to close, right? And to close, you're either going to get an appointment, you're going to get a signature, or you're going to be able to have a next step plan with them in this whole process. Now, one thing that I see happening sometimes, and when it doesn't happen, is that these things take place, Jackie, when we can't get them to close.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Bill, we've talked about this before, leaving, whether it's a phone call or you're at the door knocking, or a listing appointment, or even a buyer appointment, without a follow-up plan. You got to know where you stand, and their strategies and their scripts that we teach, so that you can learn. Obviously, the goal is to get a signature and set the appointment. And if all of that fails, you've got to have a very specific plan you're going to follow to get back in touch with this person. Or we talk too much. We over rapport. We want to build rapport and talk about things that are not leading in the direction of the end result that we want. And if you're not skilled in handling objections, actually, Bill, you and I know that when they master this entire ACE prospecting approach to selling, it's not just prospecting, it's on presentations as well, the close becomes very easy, because when you have the influence, the authority, when you're honest, when they feel like they can trust you, when they see you as an expert, You don't need to ask for the appointment or the signature 10 times. You don't come across as pushy. They'll be compelled to want to do business with us.
Yeah.
And that's
Wouldn't
the
it be
goal.
great that you don't have to close? But we want to make the close easy. We want them to feel comfortable. And one of the studies that we did, and this is something that's very interesting, that we didn't mention on the first group that we had talked to, is that every 5 seconds, your brain is assessing whether whatever's going on in your life at that moment is safe or dangerous. So that means that if you're getting a lot of hangups on the phone, whatever went on in that conversation made that person not feel safe or is dangerous. Maybe dangerous meaning that I felt pushed, or dangerous like I'm not ready to hear it and you didn't pick it up. But we also know that 92% of your competition is gone if you know how to close after the 5th no.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's very interesting how that works. And really, we think no is good. We like no. No is an engagement. So if they say no to you, Jackie, it's not a problem.
Absolutely. It's just every no gets us closer to a yes. A no is perfect. Unless they hang up on you, in which case you could call them back, or they kick you out of the house. A no is just a stepping stone. And there was something in my mind that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, Bill, it relates to what you just said. Make it easy for them to say yes, because a lot of times your approach and your conversation makes them uncomfortable, where they just want to get away. And that's when they say, I'm busy right now, they hang up, or they say, well, I'm going to think about it, I got other agents. They give you these objections because you're not making it easy for them to say yes. With the right approach and the right conversation, it's easy. And again, every no gets you closer to a yes. You've got to have that mindset.
Yeah, it's so interesting. There's so many directions you can take, right? In real estate, there's so many things because, we're 1099, we're independent contractors. We can go anywhere we want. We can do anything we want. And unfortunately, we can fail fast. So we took a lot of information that we've gotten from top producers, things that we've experienced, books that we've read, research that has been done, to combine it to have a very comprehensive approach so that you can get it and get action quickly. We'd rather you, not be in it if you're not ready to make those changes. And I hate to see, because we've been through it before, when there's a market shift where you have not done something that is painful. And typically change is a little painful because it's uncomfortable. But think about this. If you do make the change, how much could your business grow? 40%, 60%, 30%, 100%? I mean, think about the little things.
No limit.
Yeah, there's no limit, guys. And it's interesting to see how fear affects us, whether it be fear of making more money or fear of making a call to somebody that you should call. You're in sales, you've got to make calls. If you're in sales, you have to call your past clients. If you're in sales, you have to find new business every day. Handling the contracts and all that, you can get an administrator once you've closed a deal, but you have to be doing this. And we're going to talk about the 5 things that you have to be doing every day in the course to become a great ACE prospector. And as Jackie said, it's a combined effort of making that person feel comfortable and make it easy for them to buy from you. So we don't want you to come into the program if you're not willing to participate. And what we've done to make it even more a different type of program, that we have another day between the information that we're giving you. There's another day that you're going to ask questions, and it's an open forum so that we get you right where you need information at that moment in time. So we'll teach 1 week, we'll bring information the second week, but that second week is more of an open mic time where you're going to ask questions. Yeah, it's really cool. And I think that you're going to find a huge difference. Think about it. If you haven't done anything different in the last 6 months that has a positive result to your bottom line, then now is the time to do this. And jump in with us. It's an easy thing. It's an easy thing to do. It's not that expensive. You can start. Now, we don't like overselling, but I can tell you one thing. If I have an answer and Jackie has an answer, we're going to push. We're going to push to get you there because we know
Yeah,
it's.
and you know what, Bill? The reason for us to be aggressive is because we know that their future in real estate is dependent upon the choices that every single one of them listening to this call make right now.
Yeah.
And with the experience you and I have, I'm passionate about this because I know that we can help you get to the next level, whatever that looks like for you. And guess what? If we don't make you feel compelled to invest in yourself, we're not doing our job.
Yeah, it's so true. So here's what we want. I need everybody who's don't hang up yet, because once people thought, oh, they're just closing us on something, I'm going to leave.
And if you have questions, there were some questions here. We'll stay on for a few minutes and answer them for you.
Please, for right now, I just want to know from some of you that were listening intently, what was helpful for you? What did you get out of what we just talked about today that would be helpful? And just type it in so we can see. And also if you have any questions. So what was helpful for you today that gives you the big aha and says, you know, I got to make some changes. So let's look at what people are saying here. Have challenges with indecisiveness. Like you might have to clarify. Oh, with people, okay. Yes for this. Put energy in my voice. Good, Nikki. Yep. That's great. What else? See, and here's the other side of it, guys. Here's a secret. When you're not participating, sometimes people are hiding. Just don't worry about it. You just know there's no wrong answer here. Hey, make that change. Mastery, look at this. Mastery is your business. What is it? Realizing how integrated your self mastery is to your business. Yeah, that's all we're talking
about. And I'm sorry, Bill, just saying hi to someone that was involved with me years ago. Hi, LaKayla. I remember you, girl. She said, seeing the triangle, the ace. Yeah, that puts it in a really easy format.
Yeah.
Good to see you, girl.
The open, closed door, continuous prospecting. If you don't prospect one day, your business is closed. Exactly. Self-mastering the journey. All of that is so important. So for you guys that are interested, you need to go to the MAP site, go into the group coaching page, sign up. If you have questions, if you haven't joined
go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. Mapscoaching.com. Mapscoaching.com. You click on the group tab and then you find Power Prospecting right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Make me feel better. Okay, good. So Nikki had a good thing. She make you feel better. That's great. So also the prospecting locker room. If you want to join that, join on in. We're answering questions and people have questions and things going on with scripts and things like that. Jump on in there. We've got a great group in that whole private Facebook page. So listen, we just want to say thanks so much for the time. Jackie and I are committed to your success. We are happy to have this opportunity to be with you today, and thank you so much. And this will be recorded, and you can listen to it again to get more insight on what we talked about. Jackie, say goodbye to them.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Bill and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.